Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Kobayashi Maru version 2. I'm your host Travis, better known as Nick Holden on the Starship Tempest. If you've been listening to these, you kind of understand how this is going to work. If you haven't, I would suggest going back and listening to episode 1 with our Game Master Brian. We kind of go over how all this stuff works there. Also, you kind of learn the secret of what this little twist is going to be, which can add some additional amusement on your end listening to the episode. Today we welcome Tara, better known as Dr. Teal, or the voice of Lieutenant Eel, or Doe, or any of the fun voices that you hear on our show. So without further ado, let's just dive right in. Okay, well, welcome everybody to the version 2 of the Kobayashi Maru. I am here with our wonderful Tara Sheely. You know her as Teal and Eel and Doe and every good voice done on Tempest.
I'll take that, thank you.
Yeah. I wouldn't say only, but only good, I think. I mentioned it before, but unlike last time, you're not creating a character. You're just going to start as this totally blank slate. Basic Starfleet training has been endowed to you, but that is all that you have to work with at the moment.
Okay.
Told you how we're going to start you. If you noticed on your sheet, you start at -2 in every category.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
All right. So, you awaken. Lights turn on. You feel the subtle background vibration of the engines as they pump energy through the ship. You are aboard the USS Kobayashi Maru.
Oh boy.
Your mission is to map the Shepherd Nebula.
Mapping.
Mapping, yes. You are mapping and star charting. You are charting the Shepherd Nebula, named after Alan Shepard, because
of course.
I'm always going to name these after people who walked on the moon. That was my thing. So I wrote all the names down.
That's awesome.
I'm working through them slowly. It is densely packed with white dwarf stars and tons of dust and clouds, and there's this beautiful shimmer going on. It's just stunning to look at.
Awesome.
It is also just gigantic. It is huge beyond huge. It stretches so far that it even reaches beyond your sensor range at the moment. So your job is to chart it, to scan it, to record all you find in it.
Okay.
Unless there's anything else you want to do before we start, we can jump right into scanning.
No, I guess not. Yeah, let's scan thing.
Okay.
Also, I want to take mental pictures because it would be beautiful to be part of.
Imagine the most gorgeous image you can think of from Hubble and James Webb, and then put them together. And then imagine that being so large that it is essentially all of the universe you could even conceive at the moment.
And now I want to redecorate my house.
So the way this is going to work is we are basically going to decide how you're scanning the nebula, and then we're going to talk about your off-duty time. So for now, how do you want to go about scanning this nebula?
I will scan it carefully. That
has been the default for people so far.
Well, then I shouldn't. I should scan it flashily. How do you do a flashy scan?
Well, that's the thing, is if you pick how you want to scan, then we can figure out what that means in terms of your approach. If you want to pick a specific approach, then we can figure out how you would go about doing that for that approach. So
okay. Yeah. I can't.
You want to do flashing?
I don't know how I would be flashing.
We have done a couple flashy before in other ones, but
yeah. Let's do clever. So I'm gonna try to chart it in a way that I think other people wouldn't have before, when they usually chart a nebula. I'm gonna be clever about it and overwork the problem.
It's like eating a pizza from the inside.
Yeah,
no, that's
different.
That's the way they normally eat it.
Oh no, that is real. Yeah, from the outside.
Yeah, you're gonna eat it crust first. You're gonna
crust first. Yeah,
you're gonna come at this nebula crust first and see how it goes.
I'm gonna take the piece of pizza and I'm gonna roll it like a croissant, and then eat it that way.
Now I want to try that.
I mean, right?
Okay, so you are gonna scan this nebula cleverly. And so what we're going to do is we're going to decide what you scan, and then we're going to decide what you're doing when you're not scanning, and then we're going to do all the rolls in one big piece, and that's going to sort of represent a time jump, because every time we're going to discuss how you scan, what you're doing when you're not scanning, and then we're going to time jump ahead.
Okay.
So you're going to cleverly scan, but
cleverly scanning.
Let's be frank, you're not going to be scanning 24 hours a day, every day of the week.
It's true.
There are off hours. There are times you're not being utilized to scan a nebula. what types of things would you be doing when you're offline otherwise?
Well,
Oh, and I did not mention it. We are in what I'm calling the lower decks era timeline. So it is like, it's not like Tempest where we don't have holodecks. It is
okay.
just past next gen and DS9 and Voyager. So like there are aspects to
Cool.
the technology level.
Okay, I'm gonna say, in order to use flashy, I'm gonna say that in my off time,
Just a flashy bitch.
I'm
That's
such
good.
a flashy bitch. I like to go to the holodeck, and it's a 1970s roller rink, and I like do full disco roller skating.
Disco roller rink. Awesome.
Yeah. So I'm very flashy in my off time.
So yeah, you boot up the holodeck program.
Mm-hmm.
You appear, throw on some roller skates,
Mm-hmm.
and just start doing
a whole
some spins.
jumpsuit.
Oh yeah. Rhinestones, I'm assuming, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Head to toe.
Gotcha. Yeah. Even a wig made of rhinestones. Your hair is actually just all rhinestones.
Yeah. Yes.
It can be whatever you want. So.
And now I want to wear that to New Year's. So.
All right. Anything else? What other things do you want to do, if anything?
What other things do I do other than that? Because I can't do that all the time. I like to hang out in the arboretum sometimes.
Okay.
And maybe, do I have to use another approach?
Yeah, we'll figure out their approach. What are you doing in the arboretum? You're in the arboretum. You're watching. You're just kind of like doing all the sensor scans to kind of figure out what's happening in there.
Yeah, yeah. I just like it in there.
Arboretum. Okay, you're just observing the nature of arboretum.
Yes.
What do we think that would be? It feels like if you're just observing, I could say either careful or sneaky. I kind of want to do sneaky just for the sake of it.
Right. Yeah, maybe I brought a snack in there and you're not supposed to eat in the arboretum. So that's a little sneaky. It's my secret snack time in the arboretum.
Deal. Okay, so that one's sneaky. Anything else you want to do with your off time? This is the future. You can do all the things. It's up to you.
Yes. Let's say I also kickbox in my off time.
Kickboxing. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you set up again, holodeck, you go ahead and bring up a kickboxing ring. Are you doing it just with other holo character sparring partners? Do you want to try and invite members of the crew in?
Yeah, either one. I do both.
Okay. So most of your time you just, conjure another holodeck character and you spar with that holodeck character.
Yeah.
Those are very intense, by the way. There's a lot of both of you are just really good at it, and so it's super intense kickboxing. Let's see, who on the crew do we want to invite in? Who likes? So the captain does like karate.
Okay.
So let's see. So yeah, you can invite the captain in. So the captain will just. At this point, I'm going to say the captain just wanders into the holodeck one day for their holodeck time, and there's a kickboxing program running that they didn't know what was in there. And they're like, well, hey, I was going to do a karate session, but this seems fun.
Oh, yeah.
So you start doing regular kickboxing with Captain Ripley.
Captain Ripley. Good. Nothing weird is going to happen with Captain Ripley.
Always goes so smoothly for Ripley.
Sure. Everything.
All right. And that let's call that forceful, I feel.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yes.
All right. Anything else, or do we want to get rolling?
We can get rolling.
Cool. So that is day one. We have set up all the things. We're going to roll a bunch of rolls, and then we'll jump ahead some time.
Awesome.
So go ahead and give me a clever roll.
Clever.
0.
0. Does that mean I was not very clever?
Give me a flashy roll.
Flashy. Ooh, -1. I think I'm flashy.
Give me a sneaky roll.
Sneaky. Ooh, -2. These are getting worse.
And give me a forceful roll.
And forceful roll. Also -2.
So keep in mind, this is not traditionally you have to get a certain number to succeed or not succeed. These are how good you do at those particular things. So and you're starting with -2. You're brand new. You're fresh. You
Fair.
Just came out of the box. You don't have a lot of experience in things. So it's not surprising that some of these things happen. So So the first step we're going to jump ahead.
Okay.
Okay. It's been about a week. We're on day 8. We were on day
Oh,
1. Now we're on day 8. Let's just say that scanning is slow going.
okay.
Right now, I'll quickly dive in. If you know mathematical shorthand of exponentials,
Okay.
basically 1 times 10 to the negative or positive exponential basically tells you how many zeros. So like 1 times 10 to the 5 means 1 and then 5 zeros.
Right. Okay.
1 times 10 to the negative 5 means 0.4 more zeros and a 1.
Oh,
Just to
okay.
tell you it's the easiest way to like do super large and super small numbers.
Yeah.
For illustrative purposes, a metaphor would be, let's say that mapping this nebula is the equivalent of trying to catalog every grain of beach sand on the entire planet Earth.
Phew.
So after a week, you've been running for a week, and
Yeah.
you have now mapped 1 times 10 to the negative 83rd percent of this nebula, which is the equivalent of a single grain of sand out of the entirety of the world.
Yikes.
So you've made progress. And a little
Sort
progress.
of.
Other than the charting that you've completed, everything seems to be running smoothly. Your disco roller rink fell a bunch of times, but again, you're not used to gravity, so that's how it
Right.
goes.
Yeah, that's fair.
You continue to just kind of like watch around the arboretum. Nature lives and breathes and all that kind of stuff. Not a whole lot went on in the short time frame that you were there.
Yeah.
Kickboxing, you had your first kickboxing session with the captain. She won. But other than that, you've been spending lots of time outside of that one particular session with the captain, just practicing a ton with other holographic characters.
Cool.
So that's day 8. We'll jump in. We're just going to do it again. We're just going to kind of do some of these cycles. So how do you want to scan the nebula? Do you want to... Oh, wait, actually, rewind.
Yeah.
You did those things, so I'm going to bump up some of these. You'll learn extra right when you first start doing a thing. So I'm going to bump you up 1 in every category that you rolled. So 1 in clever, 1 in flashy, 1 in forceful, and 1 in sneaky.
Okay.
So yeah, so now we reset, sort of. It is day 8.
Okay.
You're going to spend another chunk of time sort of scanning the nebula, and then we'll talk about your off time. So how do you want to scan the nebula?
Well, let's try clever again.
Okay, doing clever one more
now
time.
I'm better at it. Cool. Yeah.
That works. And
maybe I learned something in those 8 days.
And so your off time. Currently your off time activities include the disco roller rink, kickboxing, and watching the arboretum. Anything else you want to add?
No, that's good for right now.
Okay.
I'll keep doing those things because I want to get better at those things.
Cool. So let's go ahead.
Except for being sneaky, because I probably won't get better at that.
Can't imagine that will come up at any point.
No, probably not.
Okay, so similar thing.
Yeah.
We're now going to do a bunch of rolls. Those will represent the next time jump.
Okay.
So forth and so on. So let's get a clever roll.
Okay.
-4. That's not great.
Oh, geez, that is not good. I am not clever.
Let's get a flashy roll.
Flashy roll. Come on now.
1.
Okay, a 1.
Let's get a sneaky roll.
Sneaky roll. -1.
And let's get a forceful roll.
Forceful, also -1.
Alrighty.
-4. That's bad.
Yeah, that's not a good roll.
Not going well.
So
I'm not a good scanner. I need a different position.
Not yet. That is the whole purpose of training.
Oh, right. Okay.
This is how you train to get better. You just do the thing over and over again.
Okay.
So yeah, so we time jump forward.
Okay.
We are now on day 16.
Okay.
We were on day 8, now we're at day 16. In addition to plenty of scanning, you did lots of continuing with your roller rink, hanging out in the arboretum, doing tons and tons of kickboxing. Thus far, the captain has not come back in for another session, but you just continue to spar with other holographic characters, anyone that you can find.
Cool.
So now we'll give you extra points again. You rolled all of those same things. Again, you're still fairly early in your training process, so you just continually learn. Particularly, you have lots of them to learn. So we'll go ahead and bump you up 1 in clever, flashy, forceful, and sneaky again.
Okay.
You are now officially up to 0 in all of those. Huzzah.
Okay, nice.
And yeah, so that's where you stand. The amount that you have actually scanned now, another week went by, you went from 8 days to 16 days. You have now scanned 1.01 times 10 to the -83rd. That is the equivalent of a few grains of sand. So the first week you did 1 grain. The week after that you did a handful of like a few grains of sand. So
Okay. Ugh.
so yeah, we reset and say, how would you like to
Okay.
continue scanning the nebula, and then we'll talk about your off time again.
Okay. I'm gonna keep going because my character is like stubborn and wants to keep pushing in all of these directions. So I want to keep trying to cleverly scan the nebula,
All
and
right.
now I'm also practicing disco dancing while roller skating, so it's still pretty flashy in there.
Okay.
And I'm because like I was not very sneaky in the beginning. Now I'm like upping the ante and trying to eat entire meals in the arboretum without being caught.
Just having picnics.
Yes. And yeah,
And
it's still
and not just are you like eating in the arboretum, not only do you just like transport, like you have a transporter just bring in food for you in the arboretum, but like since you can't eat it, you just let the animals that live there come up and eat.
no.
So you just are replicating food randomly in the arboretum, and the animals are eating it instead of anything, and you are just watching this
Perfect.
unfold.
Yes, very sneaky.
All right.
And yeah, and still kickboxing and trying to improve so that I can defeat the captain next time.
Cool. Anything else you want to add? Things?
Um, hmm.
Sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit. Let's say I'm also studying parkour so that I can be quick.
Okay.
So I'm just jumping off of stuff and like trying to be quick and nimble.
Well,
That's part of my training.
Well, you said studying, so
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what you're gonna end up rolling. If you're studying it, then I'm gonna say you're probably being quick or careful.
Yeah. I was thinking,
Okay.
yeah, one of those.
Studying parkour. All right, so you are downloading and watching and absorbing every YouTube video in existence of parkour.
Yes.
From the ancient Earth days, which I don't know why they decided to archive everything that ever was uploaded to YouTube, but there are thousands of hours of hardcore parkour videos
Parkour.
online.
Parkour.
And would you rather that be quick or careful?
Let's say careful.
All right, careful.
Because of the study part. Once I start doing it, then I'll be quick.
Fair enough. So you're studying parkour. Anything else throw out there?
No, I don't think so.
Alrighty, so yeah, this was day 16. Let's jump ahead and do all your rolls. Okay. Give me a clever roll.
Okay.
3.
Ooh, a 3. A positive 3. Take that.
Give me a flashy roll for your disco time. 0.
Flashy. Oh, it's a 0. That's fine.
Give me a sneaky roll.
Also 0.
Give me a forceful roll.
Also 0. No, a negative 1. Great. Perfect. It fell on my butt.
Give me a careful roll.
And -1. Also -1. Okay.
Right. Cool. Alrighty. So we've jumped forward time again.
Okay.
So the calendar has actually flipped over now. It has been a full month. You went from day 8 to day 16 to day 32. So now we're on day 32.
Okay.
Bright and early on day 32, you have now officially charted 1.05 times 10 to the negative 83rd. That is, instead of a few grains of sand, that is the equivalent of like a large pinch of sand. Like if you
oh my God.
A pinch of sand as you go. And yeah, to run through the things, you considered your clever scanning of it. Again, if you haven't noticed, like we're doubling time each time we jump, but you are actually scanning by exponentially more each time.
Yeah.
As you do your regressions, you continue your cycles, you get better and better, and so on. In that time, you are getting much better at disco rolling. Like at this point, you don't have any problems actually like just going and like having fun, right? Like you also now you've listened to every disco song that has ever existed.
That's true.
About 30 times.
Right.
But I mean, you're listening to them at hyperspeed, so it doesn't matter. But now you're trying to learn tricks and stuff like that, and like getting used to all that stuff. The arboretum continues. The animals are being well fed as you continue to feed them. The kickboxing, the captain still has not come back as of yet, but you continue to practice. And you are working your way through the annals of history of parkour videos.
Awesome. And there's my dog.
Woof, woof, 18 Jaeger.
Woof, 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 woof.
And so, yeah, now we'll decide what to do with the next one.
All right.
Day 32.
So
How do you want to go about things?
let's say, well, I was going to say I'd like to up the ante on how I'm getting the scans done because
actually.
Oh, okay.
Rewind. Sorry to cut you off. I didn't mean to.
It's okay. No, it's okay.
A minute ago, you actually said something about your character being stubborn, right before we did all the rolls. That's an actual character thing that you wanted to do. I would maybe suggest that we make that an aspect of yours.
Oh, sure.
Does that work?
Yeah.
So one of the normal aspects I'm going to type in is stubborn.
Okay.
So if you want to do something, whatever it happens to be, if we roll and you don't like the roll, you want to add 2 to it, or you roll particularly poorly and you're like, I want to re-roll that, you can just come up with a way that you would be stubborn about it, and we'll let you re-roll or add 2 to it.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, so you are a little stubborn.
I'm a little stubborn. Yep.
So we're going to bump up your stats again. You did a bunch of rolls.
Right.
Again, it's still, you've only done a couple, you're cycling pretty quickly. It's pretty early in your learning process. So we're going to bump you up in careful again. 1 for everything that you rolled, which is careful, clever, flashy, forceful, and sneaky.
Okay.
Now you have a couple positive numbers in there, which I'm sure
will
be nice to see.
That's exciting.
So now, after all of that,
yes,
how would you like to continue scanning the nebula?
Okay. So I would like to find a way to up the ante on how I'm scanning.
Okay.
Because it's so slow going. Yeah, and it's I'm getting frustrated because I feel like it shouldn't be taking this long. Maybe that's not the case, but that's how my character is. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I can use the stubbornness of like continuing to scan the way I was scanning because it'll work eventually as a boost.
Okay, so you stick with clever.
Okay.
So we'll go with that.
Yep.
Your roller rink practice, your arboretum watching, and randomly replicating food in the arboretum for the animals, your kickboxing courses, and your studying of the parkour. I will say at this point, let's see. Nope, still at this point, the captain has not come back. You continue to spar with holographic characters. One additional crew member did walk in while one of these simulations was running. It was, let's see, who do I want this to be? It was Ensign Ferris.
Okay.
Ensign Ferris came in, saw it, and then immediately turned around and left. Ensign Ferris does not love exercise and physical sports.
Yeah, and it was his day off.
Where does Ensign Ferris work? You get to decide.
Engineering.
An engineer. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's just a little flavor for you.
Yeah.
So you're going to continue scanning clever. I ran down all your activities.
Yeah.
Unless you tell me otherwise, I'm going to assume you're continuing to do all the activities and ask you, is there anything else you would like to do with the time that you are not being utilized to scan this nebula?
I am going to start setting up things in the holodeck for me to jump off of to practice parkour and get like quick.
All right. So now you've graduated to setting up some parkour style simulations in the holodeck.
Yes. I'm going to jump over park benches and automobiles.
So we'll say that's quick because you're trying to be quick when you're doing it.
There's no way he didn't know what an automobile was. Sorry.
Right? It's so true.
It's ridiculous.
Anything else you want to add?
No.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do your rolls. Let's do a clever roll for your scan.
Okay. 0.
Let's get a flashy
Can I be stubborn about that?
Sure, if you want.
Like right now?
Yeah. You can either re-roll or just add 2 to it.
Let's add 2 to it.
Okay, so you get a +2.
Yeah.
Okay, so +2. Let's get a flashy roll for your disco dancing.
Ooh, a 3. I'm very good at that now.
Let's get a sneaky roll for your arboretum.
1.
All right. Let's get a forceful roll for your kickboxing.
Right. Oh, -2. Feeling a little bruised.
Let's get a careful roll for your parkour.
-1.
-1. Let's get a quick roll for your parkour, for your practical use. -1.
-1. Yeah, still learning. It's okay.
You're still learning? Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, we are really moving now. We're going to double the time jump again. We're now at day 64. So
Okay.
we went from 8 to 16, 32, 64.
Yeah.
And we are now day 64. You've powered through the scanning. You are now at 1.2 times 10 to the -83rd. That is the equivalent. Instead of going from a pinch of sand, you essentially now have like a full handful of sand.
Okay. It's so slow.
And again, we're at day 64, so a couple months in. Running through everything. You continue scanning carefully. We're going to go ahead and bump up your stats and everything you rolled this time. You're going to have, that's up in careful, clever, flashy, forceful, quick, and sneaky. You're actually going up 1 in each category at this point.
It's perhaps by design.
You're branching. See, like, I like this generalist view. You want to do a bunch of things and kind of learn everything. You're just absorbing every bit of knowledge you can.
Totally.
So we'll run through everything. Did your scan? I told you how much. You're up to a big handful of sand instead of just a pinch, which
it's a big improvement.
Yeah, comparatively to all the sand in the world, it feels small. But again, you're looking at your growth. Your growth is what's important.
Yes.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Sure.
Your growth is great, baby.
Your growth is going so great.
But in that time frame, at this point, you have basically perfected the disco dancing. I don't know if there's anything else for you to learn, but you continue doing it just for funsies. But you are doing super advanced moves. Ferris came in one day when you were doing the kickboxing, but also came in one day when you were doing that and was just like sat and watched in awe as you were doing these. Like, you somehow were able to do a cartwheel in which you spun, but while you were on your hands somehow. It's almost like you just like materialized wheels on your hands for a moment while you were doing these things. It was magical.
Those are my hand skates.
Your Arboretum watching continues as you were going. One time, someone actually walked in and was kind of just doing their own tour of the Arboretum and seemed confused why there was a pile of food there for all of the animals. They were like, this doesn't seem allowed. They mentioned it to the duty officer who oversees, and so maybe they'll keep an eye out for that in the future. Whatever.
Oh, no.
Kickboxing. At this point, the captain did come in, and the captain did participate again. You guys had a spar. You were... Yeah, you kind of whooped the captain's ass this time. You've done a ton of kickboxing training at this point, like just absurd amounts of simulations that you've run. Yeah. And so you whooped the captain's ass.
Nice.
Which is good because Captain Ripley takes out aliens. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So they may come back again. They seem to be on a regular schedule, sort of weekly. So like maybe you'll catch them again as you go.
Okay.
At this point, you have now watched every possible video of parkour in history, so let's call that one done. You will no longer roll careful for your parkour watching.
Okay.
Because you have watched them all.
Watched all of it. Okay.
And your practice parkouring, now you keep trying out different setups. So like you do some cars, you do some like parking garages, you do parks, you make like those professional tag things. Have you seen those? Those are great.
No.
There's actually like a professional tag league, and so like it's a obstacle, it's like a little arena made of like pipe things like jungle gyms, and people play tag professionally. That's amazing. I wish I was born 30 years later than I was, because I would have absolutely done that.
All right. Oh my god.
So that's, we're caught up.
Okay.
Back up to, how do you want to approach scanning? Your job is to scan. Your process is to scan. This is what you are designed for.
Yep.
Let's do some scanning. I
will keep scanning the way that I was. Carefully or cleverly. Cleverly. Can I also can I try something to speed it up? Can I work on a side project? I'll stop my disco stuff for now, just so I can work on the side project of trying to scan more at once.
So I will note, unless I tell you you can't add something in, you don't have to stop something to make a new thing.
Okay. Okay.
So you are quite powerful. You can do whatever you want. So
I can do anything.
You can.
Okay.
So you are absolutely welcome to do that. I will note.
Cool.
I don't know when these will air, but I'm going to do it anyway. Brian decided he wanted to take a master class in nebula scanning. Because Brian is a literal person.
Yeah. Yes.
So if you want to do a side project or do a thing, whatever you can come up with, we'll find something for you to roll, basically.
Maybe I want to ask Ferris, who's an engineer, to help me design something so
Maybe
that
try
we
to
can
upgrade the
scan
ship
more.
scanners or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can call that a project. We'll say
Okay.
Ensign Ferris is an engineer. He's a low-level engineer in engineering, but he's ambitious.
Yeah.
I think we all he's very feel-goody. He loves to have a good time.
Yeah.
But when he works hard.
Okay.
When he's not dancing in parades.
Yeah. Like you do.
So he decides to take the initiative. He's like, I want to try and improve the efficiency of our scanners, try and boost the power to our scanners. So in his off time, he just goes down to engineering and starts working on those. You notice him down there one time, and you're paying attention to scanners because that's your whole job.
Yeah.
And you just see some of the tweaks that he's trying to do with the scanning systems, and you're like, hey, what are you doing? And then you see what he's doing, and so you start helping without asking. You just start when he's working on a particular aspect on the computer, he's typing in different formulas and stuff. You just go ahead and start solving some and working in the background that he doesn't realize, to try and help him get ahead in that scanning process. Because if he can successfully improve the power of the scanners, you can bump your scanning ability up.
Okay.
So we're going to call this Ferris Project.
Ferris Project.
We're going to call this so he's doing this in part because his performance review was not very good. So he's doing this. So we're going to call this the Save Ferris Project.
Good.
We're going to do this also in your clever, because again, you're scanning the nebula clever, and you want to utilize this new skill, this new process within that scanning. So we're going to call this clever to help boost your clever as you go.
Okay.
All right. Anything else you want to add in your off time?
No, I suppose not. That's the main thing I wanted to change this time.
All right. So we will set up for your next time jump, and we'll run through all your rolls. Give me a clever roll. 3.
Nice.
Give me a flashy roll.
Okay. 2.
A lot of these are staying positive now.
Yeah, they are.
The Arboretum.
-1. I'm still not extremely sneaky, I guess.
Which is weird because it's a 2. That means you rolled 3 minuses and a 0.
Right.
That's the only way to roll -3.
Yeah.
Give me a forceful roll.
Forceful 2.
That's your first positive forceful roll, by the way.
Woohoo!
Give me a quick roll for your practicing parkour in the holodeck.
Oh, right. Oh, -4. Definitely bit it.
If you could break bones, you would have broken bones.
Yep.
But you can't, so it's fine.
Oh, right.
And give me a clever roll for your Save Ferris.
Okay.
3.
Nice.
My. All right.
That's good.
So we'll go ahead and time jump again at this point. We are now... That was day 64. So at this point, we are at day 128.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You have now charted 2.7 times 10 to the -83rd. So again, a reminder, the last time was 1.2 times 10 to the -83rd. At this point, you have now moved from a handful to basically a big gulp cup or a small bucket of sand out of all of the sand in the world.
Okay.
To run through your extracurriculars when someone is not using you to scan the nebula, you are doing all sorts of fun things. You are you're still, no one has made you stop yet, transporting food into the Arboretum.
I haven't been officially caught.
Yeah. The animals are very happy. So now, not only are the animals happier, but when people are walking through the Arboretum, you've seen animals now going up to them, expecting food, but now people are man, these... So you are, having an effect.
Changing stuff.
The disco stuff, again, you're perfect. Your form is amazing. You do everything perfectly, but as long as you enjoy it and love the way the light glitters off of your entire rhinestone body, you can keep doing it.
By God, I do.
Your kickboxing, again, your form is impeccable. At this point, no one will ever beat you at kickboxing. You were but you're continuing to do it. Your parkour, rolled very poorly on that. You still need a lot of work on your parkour. I think it's because it's such a variable thing. It's not quite like kickboxing where you're just following a form. You have to be improvising, which you're not great at improvising yet. But as you get clever, as you get more and more clever through your scanning, you get a little better at that kind of thing. So, and then your Save Ferris thing, he made big progress. You were able to complete a bunch of calculations that he was not going to be able to complete himself. And based off of those, he was able to sort of start modifying. So he feels like he's close to finishing that project, which would be nice.
Awesome.
So we're at day 128, about a third of the year in. Do you want to continue scanning the same way?
A third of the year in. Okay.
So how do you want to approach the next time jump scan?
I think I want to take some of my time that I was doing some of these other activities and start focusing more on how to get our task done sooner. Because it's still, even though we've gone from a handful to a bucket, it's double the time. So I feel like we should be, I don't know, I feel like we should be farther along than we are. So now I'm starting to wonder if there's some impediment or something like now I'm starting to feel paranoid that it's not going as well as it should. So my character is starting to get a little like worried.
Okay. Fair enough. So how do you want to handle that? Well, first, let's figure out your next scan, because again, you're going to be stuck in this nebula for a while, so...
Forever. Okay. Yeah, so I want to continue... I'm going to continue to do it the way I've been doing it, but also like try maybe additional scan or like, I don't know. I want to find a secondary way to get this information so that we can do this in half the time that we would have taken.
Okay. I mean, your basic scanner, you're just using regular ship scanning. There are other options. Like, you could try, if we can, like, BS some technobabble to use a different system or something, I'm happy to do that.
Okay. Technobabble is not my forte.
I'll tell you, if you can come up with, like, some bullshit, I will make up the technobabble for it. It's just a matter of, like, coming up with something other than I want to scan it a different way. So
Okay. So not just I want to scan it a different way. Let's see. I want to let's say that whatever scanner we are using now is recording the information in one way, and I want to try to outsmart it and gather more information quicker, like using some other waveform or like. I hear you, Logan, but hi, welcome back.
Mommy's scanning a nebula.
I'm recording right now. Can you stay with Daddy, please? I love you so much. Fine, I will do it.
That's what we do with Indiana. Whenever it's
like, quick, like a buddy.
Quick, go see Mom.
Quick.
Go get Mom. Go to bed.
Go. Okay.
Okay, so.
So I was saying I want to try to use either a different scanner, or I've decided I'm gonna forfeit the holodeck and my trainings for a little while in order to use it to figure out the measurements of this nebula faster.
Okay. So you are going to reroute power from the holodeck and shut down the holodeck for the ship. And reroute that power to the scanners.
Yes.
Okay. We're gonna call that forceful because
everyone's gonna be mad.
Yeah, so we're gonna call that a forceful scan there for that.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. We will do a forceful scan.
Okay.
In your off time, what else would you like to do?
Well, because I shut down the holodeck, I'm gonna read books because there's nothing left for me to do, so I'm gonna read books and
you don't know the half of it.
Oh god. And study different languages, and I'm gonna use the jogging track around the ship.
The jogging track?
Why wouldn't they have a jogging track?
I mean, according to Discovery, they just run through the halls.
So. I mean, all right. We'll call that the jogging track, quote unquote jogging track.
Okay, so you want to travel through the hallways of the ship?
Yes.
At fast paces?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Unless there's a jogging track.
I'm going to say on this ship, there's no jogging track.
Okay.
All right, so traveling through corridors.
Yeah, I'm gonna go jogging. It's just jogging. It's not sprinting. It's just a light jog. Just because
You have one
I
speed.
can't kickbox right now. I have one speed.
You have one speed when you travel through the ship.
Oh, okay.
You just travel the speed of light as you go.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's me all over.
All right, so I have to make a little note of all of the different holodeck things that no longer are working.
I throw monkey wrenches.
It's not all of them. All right, so cool. So
Yeah.
we have your plan. Moving
Okay.
forward, we'll do another time
Okay.
jump. So let's
Okay.
jump through with all your rolls. Let's
Okay.
do your forceful roll.
Okay. 6. Wow.
To be clear, that 6 was to commandeer the ship's power systems. Roll your clever roll.
3.
3. All right. Give me a sneaky roll.
5.
5. Okay.
I'm now queen of the animals.
Give me a clever roll.
2.
All right. Give me. Oh, we did not decide what these would be. You're going to read books, study language, and travel the corridors. I'm going to call the travel the corridors quick because that seems to fit there. So that'll be a quick roll. So give me a quick roll. 2. Study language and reading books. You're just downloading languages, downloading books, I'll say.
Yeah.
So let's do careful for both of those.
Okay. Oh, do twice.
Yeah.
Ooh, -1.
-1, we'll say that's
and
the books.
0.
And 0 for your languages.
Okay. I'm not. It turns out I can't read.
This is how you learn.
This is how we learn. We read books.
So, well, you're also you're doubling it. You're doing you're downloading the whole of human knowledge in book form. Are you doing fiction, nonfiction? What are you doing?
Yes, all of it.
Okay, every bit of books you can download.
Yes.
But you're also learning language at the same time, so that's helping you learn to read a little bit.
Yeah.
So you normally just only process data. So what would reading matter? You just look at numbers.
Yeah.
So we're gonna call that forceful. I have to adjust my sheet. You're the first one who's been this good at scanning the nebula.
Oh, hey, I'll take that.
We'll jump forward in time. We have now jumped forward in time. We are at day 256.
Whew.
You have now scanned 5.3 times 10 to the negative 83rd.
All right.
Nebula. So again, it went from 2.7 to 5.3, which is a pretty large jump when we're talking exponential rates here.
Yeah.
You went from a small bucket to, I'm going to say, essentially sort of the back of a pickup truck.
Oh, okay.
Size jump there.
I'll take that.
And so, yeah, that's the progress that you've made with those. Running down your events, you rolled super well in your sneaky rolls. So at this point, they still have no idea what is happening with where the food is coming from. At this point, they're now doing diagnostics on the systems and trying to track down what is happening. They're checking the pockets, whatever pockets the uniforms have of anybody who comes in. I think they've at this point narrowed down that it's being transported or replicated within the arboretum. So now they're starting to check the systems to try and track where that's coming from.
They're gonna find me.
The Save Ferris project, you rolled a 2 on. I'm going to say at this point you have completed that project.
Okay.
What we'll do is we'll bump you up an extra clever. I'm going to do that now while I'm just talking about it.
Okay.
For completing that project, and at this point you no longer have to roll. You will no longer roll careful for the Save Ferris progress. You have saved Ferris.
Okay.
He did complete the progress. He showed it to the chief engineer. The chief engineer was like, "I can't believe you did this on your own." To which point he said, "Yeah, it's crazy, right?" Then he is now lieutenant junior grade.
Whoa!
So, good work for Ferris. You have downloaded. You now can read a little bit. You're starting to now absorb all of the reading of all of history and learning languages. And you, just are doing laps around the ship at the speed of light.
Nice.
To bump. I will go through the rest of your bumping up now. So that's where we're at. So we're doing the next step for you.
Okay.
How do you want to scan the nebula? You want to keep going with the way you're going?
Yeah, I think so, because that has shown the most progress. Right. Well, forceful and clever, right?
Yeah.
Or is forceful just for the commandeering thing?
Forceful was just for the commandeering thing. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and say that there is a repercussion to that particular one. You did commandeer the ship's power systems to run an extra scan, and you shut down all the holodecks to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously raised a few red flags. So now they're starting to try and track down where that happened. They're going to start doing a bunch. You notice a bunch more diagnostics are being run on various systems. So I'll just lay that out there at the moment.
Okay.
The question is, you're scanning again, and we'll talk about that. I'm bringing that specifically because you're scanning again. You sound like you want to continue scanning clever. Yeah. Do you also want to do forceful again and try to utilize the power systems a second time?
Well, if they're catching on to what I've been doing, Why wouldn't I have told anybody that I was doing that?
You just said you wanted to do it, so I just did it.
Yeah. Oh, I probably should have asked the captain first.
If you want to like communicate with people, tell me who you want to talk to and what you want to
Yeah.
say.
All right. Well, maybe.
Are you in too deep at this point? You're like,
No,
nope. No, I'm just kidding.
no, I think I will have integrity and I will see that they're running diagnostics and trying to figure not about the animals thing because I'm gonna keep doing that, but about figuring out who rerouted the power. And I'll go to the captain and talk to her and say, I did that. That's my fault. And see if she will allow that to continue because she has to have noticed that we made some great progress. But if everybody's really mad about the holodeck thing, then I'd get it also.
All right. We're going to call that careful because you're trying to be like trying to give a heads up. So we'll call that careful of you telling the captain that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to do? So sorry, that was with the scan stuff. Do you still want to try and use the power systems for this next roll, or do you want to put that on the back burner?
I wasn't sure in what order I had to do the talk to the captain versus.
We'll do the talk before you. If you want to try it again, you can totally do the thing. If you want to not hold off, you're welcome to do that too. But like, it doesn't matter for the sake of how we're rolling things. If you want to do it again, just say you'll do it again, and we'll do it again.
Okay, I think I'll do it again, but I also wanted to talk to the captain. So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You're still overseeing the arboretum. You were basically like always watching in the arboretum at this point. All of the animals. At this point, you have named all of the animals within the arboretum.
Yes.
So when people walk through the arboretum and like you get the computer voice telling them everything, now it just refers to the animals by name. They aren't sure how that naming happened, but that's now when they hear the normal talking computer while they do it, they just hear. And we'll see how you keep rolling as to how much you will just run the arboretum soon.
Perfect. That's perfect.
Continuing to download and read every book that can possibly happen. Continuing to try and study languages. Both of those are careful. Continue to travel around the halls of the ship.
Yeah. Jogging.
Right. Cool.
Jogging at light speed. Light speed jogging.
Yep. We'll go ahead and go through the rolls.
Okay.
Since you are... Actually, let's break the order just for one. So you're going to tell the captain. So go ahead and roll your careful for me.
Okay. 2.
Okay. So now go ahead and roll forceful and clever.
Forceful. 5. Clever.
9. Holy cow.
I'm very clever.
All right. Give me a sneaky roll for your arboretum.
Sneaky. 2.
Give me 2 careful rolls for your book learnings.
A 0 and a 2.
And give me a quick roll for your traveling throughout the ship.
And my jogging is a 3.
All right. Jogging at light speed.
Yeah, jogging at light speed.
So that all happens. We are jumping forward in time. It is now day 512. So we went
my God.
Yeah, so we are now a year and a half into your mission of scanning this nebula.
Okay.
You have now moved up to 1.1 times 10 to the negative 82, which means you dropped a whole decimal point off of that thing.
Oh.
So you're no longer making like incremental little things. You went from basically the back of a like a small pickup, like an S10 or something.
Yeah.
You scanned what is the equivalent of a dump truck full of sand
on
this past one.
Okay.
So we're doubling in years each jump, but like just massive jumps in the amount that you were scanning. You were still able to commandeer the power systems.
Okay.
You sent the email to the captain. They did not read it before you commandeered the power systems the second time and ran all those scans. They read it. You got the read receipt from it, but you have not seen or heard anything since the read receipt was sent out.
Okay.
And now the power systems seem to have been locked down in some way. Now only systems can use the power divided to them. Anything additional needs like additional verification, like a 2-step verification. So they've locked down the power system, so you will no longer be able to use the forceful roll unless you come up with some other way to access power systems that you aren't supposed to.
Oh, okay.
So that's where that is. You continue to learn and grow language. I already told you you've named all the animals. At this point now, like the computer voice that people hear when they walk through and get like when it describes what the foliage and fauna is, now it's just your voice. Now it's just a voice that's you. Now just that you just created is now playing over, and they're like, "Why did the voice change?" But system update. That's fine.
Yeah, it's cool.
So we'll do that, and I think that's everything. Yeah.
Can we say we put in those like you know how they put gumball machines where you can get like deer food out? Like that,
Yeah.
those are just all over the arboretum now, so people can feed the animals right out of their hands.
So you keep transporting those in, you keep materializing those things in,
Yeah.
and then the person who works there, who's like their day job, keeps removing them because
Oh,
you're not supposed to have food in the arboretum.
Yeah, that's fair.
So now they are doing level 3 diagnostics on the power systems of the arboretum, specifically now looking into the transporting systems, trying to get down to the bottom of it.
Oh,
we'll see how long your reign can hold at this point. All right, so we're back to where we were. Day 512. Okay. You now have dump truck full of sand that you were doing at each run.
Yeah.
What next do you want to do? Continue scanning the way you're scanning. I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Continue
your clever scans.
Continue my very clever scans, and yeah. So I'm no longer forcefully taking the power systems. Does that mean we're going to regress to the way it was before?
It just means that we're only going to roll clever for your scanning.
I see. Right. Okay. I just meant how would it affect the progress, but
it means that you won't get a bump up in forceful, which we did not do the bump ups this last time.
Oh, okay.
So I should do that. And I think that's everything. Yep, I believe that's everything. Cool. So we've upped all your values based on what you're rolling. So
okay.
So let's decide how you want to scan.
Okay. Yeah, I want to continue scanning the way that I have been because it's been giving good results.
Okay.
But I'm gonna say that on Fridays I'm gonna give the holodecks back. Okay. So, like on like casual Friday, everyone can go have holodeck time on Fridays.
So are you still trying to control the holodecks at this point? Because the forceful was you shutting down the holodecks and commandeering that power.
Oh.
So if you want to do that, you can, but it's gonna you still be trying to control the power systems, which will be
yes
a thing. Okay.
Yes. I'm gonna try to do that. Maybe I'll like have someone in on that with me. I'll talk to someone. Who should I talk to? The engineering chief.
Engineering chief. All right. Let's call that. Who do we want to pick for that? Yeah, let's go with Lieutenant Commander Nesmith.
Nesmith. Okay.
He is the chief of engineering. So what are you gonna do exactly?
I want to like form an alliance. No, I want to tell him my idea of
utilizing the power to scan extra.
Yes, and how that's what I've been doing, but I want to give power back to the holodecks just on Fridays. But if we all want to get out of this nebula sooner, we got to keep the power to the scanner as much as possible.
Okay.
Because that's the idea, right? Is to scan this nebula and then leave.
Your job is to scan the nebula. That is all that that's your orders. Scan the nebula.
I feel like we'll be here for the rest of time unless we try very hard to do it better, faster, more intense.
Fair enough. All right. So we're gonna call the engineer communication. So you're trying to convince him of this thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say we can either do flashy or forceful for that. Which would you rather? Which do you think it makes more sense? So what's the tone of this email you're sending, right? Like you're sending a message.
Does it have to be an email, or can I go see him in person?
It has to be an email.
Oh, it has to be. Why does it have to be an email?
It has to be an email.
Oh, meetings that should have been emails. Let's say I will do it. I would do it in a flashy manner because I'm like, hey, isn't this a great idea? Don't I have this great idea to get us out of here? Right?
All right. So you're gonna send this flash email and try to be a used car salesman about please.
Yeah.
Now that
come on, man, come on down.
now that you've been locked out of the power system specifically, you're going to be like, hey, so I'm locked out of here, but how about you also still give me the power, but I'll let you have Fridays.
Yeah.
In a very Bill Paxton in True Lies sort of way.
Have I got a deal for you?
Man, I'm glad that worked in. That was
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
So you can continue doing all of the other extracurriculars, the Arboretum, the reading, downloading all of the books and everything, studying languages, traveling the ship as you go. Continue to scan cleverly to utilize those things. Does that sound about right?
Yes.
Alrighty. So we're going to go ahead and do another time jump here.
Uh-oh.
And let's go through your rolls. Let's do a clever roll for your scan.
Clever first.
10.
Oh, a 10.
10 spot. Give me a sneaky for your Arboretum.
3.
Give me 2 careful rolls for your learning book stuff. For your book learning.
A 3 and a 5.
5. All right. Give me a quick for your intership travels.
My jogging is a 1.
Give me a forceful roll for still trying to commandeer control of the holodeck while you are supposedly still asking for permission.
7. Casual Fridays.
and give me a flashy roll for whether you convinced the chief engineer Nesmith whether that's important. Whether
3.
Okay.
It's a very flashy email.
It was a flashy email. Cool. So that was another time jump. We jump ahead.
Okay.
It is day 1024.
Wow.
Approximately 2.8 years. You have now scanned and charted approximately 4.7 times 10 to the negative 82nd.
Okay.
Or, I'm sorry, negative 81st. You have now dropped an additional exponent on top of the number going up as well.
Oh, okay.
This is the equivalent of, I'm going to say like a couple dozen dump trucks worth of sand. So you had gone from a pickup truck to a single dump truck the last jump. This time, even though the amount is like the time amount is doubling, but instead of doing just from 1 dump truck to 2, you now are like a dozen dump trucks worth of sand.
Okay.
So you do that, and let's talk about your off-duty shenanigans. The Arboretum, you continue to hold control, though at this point, they have now cut off the Arboretum. They have shut down. They have cut off the Arboretum from all the computer systems.
No.
And
my animals.
So the animals are fine. The Arboretum still is up and running, but now they have cut off any access to it from any additional systems.
Okay.
So you can no longer roll or see inside the Arboretum at this point.
Okay. Oh man.
I'm gonna say at this point you have downloaded and absorbed and read. Maybe one more before that. So at this point, you've studied all languages. Like you can speak any language. You are essentially a universal translator yourself.
Whoa!
But you will no longer roll a careful roll to learn more languages because you've learned them all.
Okay.
At this point. See, continue to travel around the ship. That doesn't change. And your comm, you sent it to the chief engineer. He received it. The only thing you see is it looks like he forwarded it to the captain.
Oh dear.
And then you were able to commandeer the holodeck for one additional thing. You didn't do it through the power systems like you normally would do. This time it looks like you reprogrammed the holodeck itself to instead of utilizing its power. Because you remember in Picard now they say that holodecks have a totally isolated power system.
Yeah.
And so what you were doing actually was shutting that down and then rerouting that specific power system, not the full power systems of the ship.
Right.
And you're able to get one more use where they shut down power. You couldn't access the power systems of the ship on the whole, but you were able to now still siphon power off of the holodeck for one more go.
Okay.
And so, like I said, several dozen dump trucks at this point worth of sand that you were scanning.
That's good.
In each dump. And so how do you want to go about everything else?
The trouble here is that that's years of everyone's lives. Also, were all my interactions with Ferris emails?
With Ferris, which interaction specifically?
All of them. Any of them. Did I ever see him in person?
You saw him, yes.
Okay. Because I was starting to feel like with all these emails, maybe no one's on the ship but me.
If you want to run a quick scan to see if there are other people on the ship, or see if there are people on the ship, you can go to the thing.
Let's do that real quick.
All right, give me a careful roll because you're basically verifying something.
Okay. 6.
Yes. There is a crew complement of about 1,100 people for the USS Kobayashi Maru. You do an internal scan of the entire ship, and there are that number of people physically on the ship.
Okay.
Ensign Ferris specifically, again, the only things that you were doing in terms of interacting is you saw him once when he walked in on your, twice when he walked in on your kickboxing and left immediately, and once when he walked in and stayed and watched you disco dance for a little bit and then left the holodeck.
Right.
When you were helping him on the project, you were just completing calculations for him and stuff. You didn't really work as a team. You saw what he was working on and you just started doing stuff, automating processes in the background for him.
Am I a person?
Do you want to roll?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to see if I'm a person.
All right.
Because if I've learned all the languages in 1,000 days, I suspect I am not a person. Also, if I am running math problems in the background for someone else and they didn't notice, I suspect I'm not a person.
Okay. Go ahead and roll. What would that be? It feels like that's a clever roll, right?
Sure. Yeah.
You're trying to piece something together.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me a clever roll.
8.
An 8. Alrighty. Congratulations.
Ha!
You are actually a scanning system on the USS Kobayashi Maru. You are an artificial intelligence, and you just figured that out about yourself.
Well, now I am sentient.
You are.
Good for me.
Great job.
Thank you.
So you are a sentient AI who was tasked with learning how to scan nebula.
Awesome. Who loves disco dancing.
Yep.
And parkour. That's amazing.
Alrighty, thanks for tuning in for yet another Kobayashi Maru session hosted by me, Travis, Nick Holden. Today I want to thank our esteemed guest, Tara, for coming in and playing the game with me. I hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed playing, and I hope you'll check out next time when Ryan, our captain, sits in the chair and gets to go through this experience himself. And until next time, we'll see you out there.